And we've got a great show planned for you today. We decided to not decided.
We had to fulfill one of the stretch goal targets for our new office campaign. So Linus is...
I'm Mother Teresa. We promised we would do the WAN show dressed up as ladies, so we each chose a lady to dress up as. I went with Mother Teresa, so I got my my habit here. Yep, feeling pretty good about myself right now.
And I went as Kaylee from Firefly. So this is supposed to be like her overalls. It's actually a sweater, but it's supposed to be her overalls. And then I have my like flowered shirt and not my normal hair.
And there's a hood.
There's a hood, which I don't think there normally is. But whatever, don't worry about it. I cut the sleeves off. That's
the worst costume ever.
You know what the weirdest thing is right now? Lipstick. Holy crap.
Yeah, it's kind of
not
awful,
digging
isn't
it. It's horrible.
Well, Nick got lip gloss for me because I'm a little more modest, so I don't just go all out with the lipstick.
She probably didn't put anything on.
So guys, here's the crowdfunding campaign page. So I think the current goal we're working on is for
You're such a noob.
Okay,
You're a noob.
There, I muted my computer. So I think the current goal that we're working on, we actually just uploaded the Shock Callers Channel Super Fun video last week. WAN Show Made Up as Paul and Kyle was last week. The old school unboxing is done. So Wingardium Get the F Back to Work Luke is the goal we're working on right now. So he's going to have a life-size cutout of Harry Potter. Daniel Radcliffe as Harry Potter in his room, and we'll put some funny speech bubble on him or something. And then the next one is going to be a Linus Tech Tips LAN hoodie. So there you go, guys. It's newoffice.linustechtips.com. We've got a great show for you guys today, including ghost cars now becoming a reality. And I don't mean ghost cars like cops, and then you get a ticket because you were doing something wrong and you didn't realize they were a cop. We've also got Steam games are now region locked, so there is a reason for this that goes beyond just Valve are bad people and they want you to pay more for games. What else we got?
Sorry, I was dealing with getting hair out of my mouth. I still don't understand how anyone does this. Eric Schmidt says there's nothing to worry about with AI because he doesn't understand things. We'll talk more about that later.
Yep.
And Sony versus GOP, also known as Guardians of Peace. There's been a ton of updates with that.
Now, I'm a little confused. Is it Guardians of Peace, like the little small green things, or Guardians of Peace, like people not,
a piece
terrorizing each other?
Guardians of Peace, but they don't necessarily define what peace.
Part of it.
Yeah.
Oh, I understand.
They're like, we are guardians over part of the world. Get it? Oh my god, that actually makes so much sense.
Intro time.
I can't even deal with this hair right now. I literally can't even.
For what it's worth, the elastic on this habit headband thing is really tight. And like I'm gonna be doing the show without oxygen to my brain. Alright, so our sponsors today are the one and only Dollar Shave Club. Oh, that's so adorable. Look at that. They put little Christmas junk next to it. We have Christmas hats and a Christmas tree and a Christmas man. You don't call them Christmas men?
Snowman.
No.
It's a snowman.
Dollar Shave Club. Shave time, shave money, shave yourself. Luke,
shave a snowman.
You look like you could use a shave.
I could probably use a shave.
If you're going to make that costume a little more convincing.
Yeah.
All right, we've also got Intel. Take advantage of fantastic holiday rebates. Also in tune with the holiday season with the Christmas hats and all that kind of stuff.
This is also Christmassy.
What's also? Oh yeah. The lower third
WAN
is
show logo
Christmassy and everything. I know. It's like it's almost like we should have done this a couple weeks ago in order to get our money's worth out of completely redoing all of our lower thirds and sponsor intros.
Thanks, Nick Van Berkel.
Exactly. All right, so why don't we just kick things right off here? So ghost cars are becoming a reality thanks to Jaguar. And
so people should probably see this video.
we should probably show you guys the video. Basically, the video is pure bullshit, but it's still worth watching just so that you can get some idea of what Jaguar wants you to believe is coming, even if it has really very little to do with what's actually going to be coming. My laptop is just like, yeah, maybe I
Yay,
can.
laptop.
Maybe I'll scroll a page eventually here. There we go. Maybe I'll load this YouTube's. I gotta stop this stream. What is it? What is it doing?
Your laptop is just not a happy laptop right now.
I know. This is not good. Okay. Thank you. Stop streaming. And start streaming. All right, here, I'll show you guys this. Here we go. All right, so 360-degree urban
Windscreen.
blah windscreen. Okay, so basically the concept they're trying to sell us here is that the pillars, so like this pillar here, for example, will be able to turn transparent basically by replacing the top material here with screens so that you'll effectively be able to see through them. So you'd have cameras on the outside of the car and then you'd have the pillars be covered in screens so you can kind of see through them. Now there's a couple reasons that this just flat out straight up won't work, and one of them is that the way that your eyes focus is going to change. So you won't just be able to look out the windshield and look to the left without refocusing your eyes on the pillar because the object will be much closer to you. So this is kind of cool too. You can see that they didn't want to spend too much on the VFX here, so they only had that go transparent for a very short period of time.
I did kind of notice that too, but I think what it was actually trying to point out there is when you look at stuff, it will change.
Yes, it will
be. It's not always trying to be transparent.
Which is yet another potential point of failure for something like this if it were to work. This one's cool. So the idea is that there's a ghost car in the same sense as when you're playing a racing game. There's a ghost car. You shouldn't race against it. I'm sure that's not what Jaguar is endorsing here. But the idea is that instead of your traditional turn-by-turn navigation, you just follow this, like, imaginary car in front of you.
Which doesn't seem like a super great implementation. Like, I'd almost wish that they went with the actual kind of racing game thing that I see a lot of racing games actually set up, which is where they just show like the arrows around turns and stuff.
Yep, lines on the road.
Lines on the road, arrows around turns. Show a grid on the road in front of you and be like, go along this curve, something like that. Not a car in front of you, which usually represents nothing, and it just says like, follow me, follow me, follow me, follow me repeatedly, which is going to get crazy annoying.
And the thing about a car in front of you is that that means again it's an eye focus thing. You're looking right in front of you. That's a very myopic way to drive. That's not going to increase your situational awareness, where looking further off into the distance is going to let you take better advantage of your peripheral vision. It's going to allow you to spot hazards more easily on the road.
And the car is intentionally right in front of you. The road lines and potentially arrows and stuff that Linus and I were just talking about are going to be kind of off to the side or below your main vision, so you'd see it out of your peripherals instead of it being the direct thing that you're looking at, so it shouldn't actually distract you from driving. That's another problem that I noticed with the pillars is unless they do like some pretty intense eye movement detection, a lot of times that you're looking at certain pillars, it might not know that you're actually looking at them, so it might not click in.
This is I don't know what Twitch is doing.
Your laptop, I think, is the problem.
It's right now. A real problem though. So I was trying to participate in Twitch chat there. That did not happen. All right, so
I think there's more people in Twitch chat saying that I'm prettier than you. So
well, I'm a nun.
Basically,
we're not supposed to be,
winning this popularity contest.
Putting it on for everyone to see or something. Oh! Speaking of putting it out there for everyone to see, the channel Super Fun going up this weekend is freaking awesome. It involves it does involve fake boobs, but not in any way that you could possibly be expecting. You will not see this coming.
There's gonna be that one dude who guesses the exact thing.
No, there isn't.
Okay.
No, I really don't.
Challenge accepted. Everyone post on the forum what you think it's going to be. And then go watch the video and figure out if it's going to be it or not.
Sincerely doubt it. All right, let's go ahead and move into our next topic here.
One thing that I want to talk about before we go forward.
Hold on. X-Tank Slayer X was the one who posted the last topic on the forum. Thank you.
I still want to talk about the last topic. So, with this kind of stuff coming to cars, more technology coming into cars now, I think it would be pretty cool if tech reviewers started reviewing cars. And I think car companies need to kind of figure this out too, because standard traditional car guys, when it's going to start coming to electrical cars and cars with beams that you can see through and projected cars on the road and 360-degree sonar and like all this other kind of stuff that cars are starting to get. I think they need tech guys on it. So at CES, I know I'm going to at least try to check out a couple cars and see if we can get some cool technology overviews. I'm not going to be looking into engines. I'm not going to be looking into anything like that, but I'll just look into like, oh, it has this cool tech or that cool tech.
Yeah, cars are becoming something that the typical gearhead is not necessarily like. They'll probably look at this kind of stuff the same way that a hardcore audiophile is going to look at 3D positional software sound on something like a headset. Well, hold on a second, like, does it sound good or not? These guys are going to be like, well, hold on, does it handle well or not? Whereas guys like us are going to be like, like, what OS is that Android dash system running, and how does it?
I think we need kind of both teams here. They can check out the engine and all that kind of stuff. Or the motor, I guess, depending on which. Anyways, speaking of
cars not even needing engines anymore. All right, so our next topic here is the Assassin's Creed creator reveals a AAA
historical action survival game.
Wow!
Just in case you haven't heard of one of those before.
So this was posted on the forum by, I would love to tell you, but my laptop really is a broken piece of crap right now. This is supposed to be by
Rohith Kumar SP.
Yeah, and the original article here is from GameSpot. Do you want to go ahead and drop that in the chat?
Oh, yes, I forgot to do the last one.
Okay, maybe drop them both in the... Or I don't think you can do them back to back, can you?
It's not a good idea.
Okay,
I will just do this one.
Sure.
Boom.
There we go. All right, so... Oh, we're looking at the doc. Not that... There we go. All right, so Panache Digital Games. What's the scoop on this?
So this guy left after he didn't like the direction that AC was going. I believe this was after the series of AC2 games. So after Ezio, I believe this is when he left. Someone might correct me on that. He then went to THQ, where he started to develop 1666, a new game fairly similar to Assassin's Creed.
And then we all know what happened to THQ.
Yes, and then Ubisoft absorbed that portion of them.
And he was working for them again.
Taking 1666 and taking him back, he promptly left again and is now like, screw all you guys. I'm going to make my own freaking studio. So has started Panache Games. I hope I'm pronouncing that right, but yeah.
I think it's Panache.
So yeah, there's no official name for it yet. No one actually knows if he was able to buy back like the IP of 1666 or any of that kind of stuff, because I think he might have been trying. So yeah, we know he's going to continue trying, whether or not this wig, man, whether or not he has to restart completely or he's able to continue on his previous work
by buying back the rights for
1666
or something along those lines.
Whether it's going to be 1666, we don't know any of that kind of stuff, but yeah, he's doing it, and he's referenced more than once that he thinks that positive change can happen throughout the world through video games, which I kind of actually do agree with, and he thinks a very good platform for that is AAA titles because they're very wide-reaching. And looking at how much I liked Assassin's Creed 2 and all of its iterations, I would be happy if he makes something to that caliber again.
All right, so this is really interesting. I always feel a little bit weird when we're reporting on our sponsors,
stuff,
especially when it's positive, because I feel like I should be trying to find something crappy about it.
Well, it's not in Canada.
Yeah, that's crappy. Okay, there. The crappiest thing about this next news item is that I can't get it. So the original article is on tomshardware.com. Have you posted that yet? And it was posted by Luciferia, whatever. It was posted on the forum. So ting.com, you know those guys that they do some advertising through us for their mobile service where they actually buy wholesale... they buy wholesale from Sprint, and then they resell on like a pay-per-use sort of plan with their customers instead of asking people to sort of commit to X number of minutes per month or whatever else. So they've got their whole mobile thing going on, and now they are expanding their service to provide gigabit internet. How fascinating.
So they jumped in on a company buy, which I think they jumped in at like 70% of Blue Ridge Networks, and Blue Ridge Networks was already offering gigabit Ethernet, but it was, 100 megabit per second and 50 megabit per, or 100 megabit per second down, 50 megabit per second up for around $500, and the new tier should be that same kind of deal, but around $100 a month, which is pretty insane, actually.
So hold on a second. According to Blue Ridge's announcement, the company will have pricing plans for gigabit internet with rates under $100.
Oh, okay.
With budget-oriented plans that could be even lower than the initial offering. Additionally, Blue Ridge will honor prices and certain plans for a limited time for customers who upgrade to Ting Internet. Pretty awesome. The company also has plans to provide a television package in 2015 as well. How interesting. Looks like if you sit on your ass and don't upgrade infrastructure, other people who think that that money that you were making looks pretty good might actually invest and compete with you. Whoa, AT&T. Holy actual crap.
And with the pricing structure that Ting is setting up, like, please just wreck AT&T. And one really interesting thing, too, is right when this happened, a whole bunch of people local around Blue whatever networks have now shown interest in the Ting one, Blue Ridge Internet Works, because it's much cheaper. So it's showing that, like, people are interested. AT&T being like, oh, why do you guys need above 6 megabit per second? Because people want it. Because the internet shouldn't be slow anymore. It doesn't make any sense.
So yeah, I mean, it really does. It really does feel like companies should be able to understand that we've seen this happen over and over and over again. I mean, when's the last time that you bought Fujifilm? It's like Kodak. What happened to Kodak? We think digital is a phase. It's gonna pass. They said that. We think it's a fad. It's like, okay, well, where are you today? It's like, if you sit there and do not invest in whatever people are actually wanting to buy, if you're content to sit there on ass, not innovating, waiting for, like, when's the last time? You know what? We can complain all we want about sort of government-sanctioned monopolies and all that kind of stuff, but eventually they all fail. Eventually, competition does happen, even if it takes a little while, even if it takes a new technology in order for it to happen, or even if it takes municipalities going and building their own infrastructure for their own residents to have better access to the services that they want. Sitting there and refusing to innovate has never worked for anyone ever.
Someone will come in and
Not
crush
once.
you. It happened with Apple and Microsoft. Apple and Microsoft stepped up in a range where no one was actually... It was like, oh yeah, people don't need consumer computers, and then look at like two massive companies nowadays because they stepped up and decided that they were going to do something about it.
So yeah, best of luck to you, Ting. Sure wish that you would
Come to
move
freaking Canada, because aren't you from here? What the hell?
Yeah. So anyway, so the their ISP expansion will be somewhere in the neighborhood of Charlottesville, Virginia. So lucky you guys. I can't wait till we have faster offerings here. Even at the new place that we're looking to move into. The only plans that we have available are business versions of the same residential class connection speed, except you get a couple IPs and I think a better uptime guarantee or something like that.
Yeah. I think they just like give you some of your money back if they go down. It's like, oh, okay, well.
But you just charged me more for the same service.
Not better. Anyways, are we going to tackle this big one now?
Yeah, sure. Why don't we jump right into this? So this was posted by Alex P. 10v2 on the forum. Original articles here. The Verge has been doing a lot of coverage of this. We've also got Gizmodo and NPR on here.
And like everyone else.
Everyone and their dog, because this is so much deeper than tech news or movie news or anything. So
this hits like basically every realm of news you could possibly imagine.
Yeah,
politics, tech, politics and tech, maybe two. Anyways, so the GOP has quote unquote won. The interview has been pulled, not only because of Sony. A lot of different movie theaters have publicly said that they would not show it, even if it wasn't pulled by Sony. Now, that isn't to say that there was a very large amount of smaller, maybe independent level movie theaters that weren't willing to show it and actually asked to show it. I know George R.R. Martin actually offered up his own theater and was like, yes, show it here, please. You guys are cowards, blah, 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 blah. It's George R. R. Martin, so he obviously didn't pull any punches. And was like, yes, show it at my theater, please. Even if it's a terrible movie, I will continue showing it. It doesn't matter.
So you skipped a step. This is in response to the hackers basically threatening terror attacks anywhere where the movie was shown, including the premiere, and warning that even if you live nearby, you better go away anytime that the video is being shown. They actually referred to the September 11th, 2001 attack on the World Trade Center. So big deal overall, and I understand
pretty much every angle, actually. Like, it makes sense. You don't want to have your employees
you don't want to endanger your employees.
Because that's one big thing that the GOP has been attacking. We will release, like, I don't know if this is the right terminology, but SIN number, like your social insurance, I don't know what it is.
Social security number.
Yeah, that one.
They did. They released the social security numbers, home addresses, previous salaries.
It's bad for your employees. It's bad for people that you work with. It's bad for your own company. It's very, very bad. And movie theaters were essentially being threatened to be blown up. Because the GOP is like, if you go there, you're putting yourself at risk. If you live near there, you should leave your home. Like, they're being pretty serious. As a company that owns a movie theater, you probably don't want your entire massive investment to be blown up because you showed one movie.
And you don't want your customers to die because they came to a movie at your theater. Like, I get it. But with that said, so I don't remember who was first, but basically the major theaters pulled out kind of one by one, and then when enough of them pulled out, Sony pulled the whole thing. And the problem with this is that had everyone showed it and had everyone gone to see it, there would have been no way for the GOP to attack that many targets. So solidarity, one way or the other, it was total victory or total loss in this case. And there's an update from today, actually. Obama has criticized Sony for canceling the release, calling it a mistake. We cannot have a society in which some dictator someplace can start imposing censorship here in the United States. So the president in his year-end news conference added that he was sympathetic about their concerns, but said, I wish they would have spoken to me first. Because this is not just about Sony at this point. This is about, like he said, some dictator, some place basically saying what movie you can or cannot put in your theater in the United States of America, which is... Wow. There was a very thinly veiled threat in response saying that the United States might have to find some way to respond in kind.
At the same time,
something along those lines.
Like this happened and is very true, and I'm sure they will at some time. But where is it in here? I can't find it in here. But there's somewhere else at the same time where they're saying this also might have been designed to provoke an attack, and we have to be aware about that at the same time. So they know this. They're being aware of that, which I think is really good because it was very likely that it was intended to provoke something.
Must have been trying to do something.
There's a really ugly situation. I know places like T-Fury are massively capitalizing on this. T-Fury's daily t-shirts right now are all about the interview. One of them is like, I wanted to go see a crappy movie, and now all I have is this t-shirt, and it shows Seth Rogen's face. The other one is like, I can't remember exactly how it goes, but like, I for one bow down to our new benevolent North Korean leaders, and it like shows the interview stuff. Like, it's...
Oh, wow.
It's, yeah. Like, I'm sure T-Fury is making a whole bunch of money off that, and that's why they did it. But it's interesting how spoken about this is, because it's a huge issue. I know George R. R. Martin brought up stuff like, I think this was kind of during World War II, although I don't know a ton about this, but I think it was called The Dictator, and it was with Charlie Chaplin.
Yeah,
okay, and they still screened that. I don't know if that's necessarily 100% of a fair comparison.
Yeah, I haven't seen The Dictator, unfortunately.
I haven't seen The Dictator. It's obviously a very different type of attack that's happening, yada, yada, yada. But it is a very interesting comparison, and I do recommend that you go look up what George R. R. Martin has to say about
the big problem here is not what the GOP won today. because
Yes.
this just looks like a test.
This
Hey,
almost doesn't matter.
yeah, it's just a stupid movie at the end of the day, but this looked like a test. Can we make these mega corporations bend to our will, and can we incite fear? I mean, it's terrorism. That's how terrorism works. If you're making people afraid, then you're effective. And so basically, their message from today was, it's very wise you have made the decision to cancel the release of the interview. It will be very useful for you. We will ensure the security of your data unless you make additional trouble. And that's exactly the point. So now Sony is completely under the thumb of the GOP forever. That's it. They won.
Yep.
And at some point, they're bound to do something. And that information will leak eventually. So they haven't safeguarded anything.
Nope.
All they've done is
Delayed the
enabled
inevitable.
a round 2 later, as opposed to getting it all out in the open now.
And like when you have people like the President of the United States being like, dude, just call me. You should probably do that because they're going to step behind you a lot because this is super important for
Even that might not
even
be
just
enough
the
though. I mean,
States.
there's so many issues with the information being leaked from Sony that have that are nothing to do with anything Barack Obama can help with.
Well, it's a lot of it is going to be financial pain.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
he could help with that.
There'll be some financial pain, but the financial, like, I mean, any support the United States is going to give is going to be temporary, and the impact on them as a company from all this information being leaked could last 10 years, 20 years. Like,
It's one of the biggest deals that's happened politically in a long time. I'm pretty sure
oh,
that
chat
they
wants
could.
the
I'm on
links.
it. I'm on it.
Sure.
I'm pretty sure that they could step up appropriately.
I doubt it. I personally completely disagree with that. I think that for them to, I mean, yes, I think they should have probably consulted with the U.S. government, but I don't think anything that they could have told them would have helped.
It's not
Then
about
would
what
have
they
had-
could have told them.
or done
It has
anything.
nothing to do with it.
I mean, what are they going to do short of, you know, an airstrike on where the GOP is holding the data?
That doesn't matter. The data's going to go out.
Right. I know that. But what I mean is that nothing the U.S. said or did was going to change Sony's decision-making
It doesn't have to
process
do.
here.
They just need to give them money.
Right, but that's not going to... Okay, that's not going to change the impact of that data eventually being leaked. No one's going to want to...
So don't go for an eventual leak. Drop it all now. Essentially, consider all of those projects abandoned, and then get financial support from the U.S. government.
I think that's a very simplistic view, and I really doubt that is how that conversation would have gone down.
Okay.
A number of folks are calling for Sony to release the interview online. Sony Pictures CEO Michael Linton says that while Sony has every desire to release the film, online isn't the immediate option. So we are considering some options as it stands right now. While there have been a number of suggestions, there has not been one major VOD distributor, so video on demand distributor, one major e-commerce site that has stepped forward and said they're willing to distribute the movie for us. So, wow. Again, we don't have that direct interface with the American public. I mean, one option, just throwing it out in case you're watching, Mike, would be the brand new BitTorrent paywall option. Hey, you do have an interface directly with the American public. In fact, the public all over the world. All you have to do...
Post it on a website.
Yep.
It really doesn't matter.
All you have to do is, well, no, I see what they mean. They probably don't have the infrastructure for that. Like, if a billion people hit that page at the same time, it's...
They host PSN. How do they not have the infrastructure
How
for
often
that?
does PSN go down?
Because of hackers.
Right. And
So
no
go
one's gonna-
behind someone else's wall. They've obviously been using AWS and other services.
Okay, yes, but that's not a better option than just torrenting it.
Okay.
Because you can't attack
I
a
wasn't
torrent.
saying it was a better option.
Oh, okay. Because
You're very aggressive right now. This is a simplistic view. Blah, 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 blah.
Well, I really
Jeez.
think it is.
I think you're wrong as well, and that's okay. This is a talk show. We talk about things.
Yes, we do.
Calm down, Mr. Sir.
All right, so what's our... I guess there's not really much else to say. The GOP won.
There's the North Korean stuff.
Oh, yeah,
There's
okay.
like three. This was done in 3 topics for
Right.
whatever reason. So I'm gonna skim over one pretty quickly, which is Reddit has started banning
posted
users.
that link yet?
Nope.
Okay, this was posted by X Tank Slayer X.
Reddit has started banning users that are leaking some of the stuff that has been leaked from the GOP. So a subreddit called Sony GOP was banned, and a moderator for that page called Sony GOP was also banned, and I'm sure there was other ones as well. This is not a new thing. This happened also during the fappening, where they closed certain stuff like that. They're not closing discussions about it. They're closing information that is leaked to do with this. Like, not information that is leaked from the GOP. They're getting rid of that, essentially.
Yeah, so it's one of those things where, Reddit is one of those places on the internet where there's not a whole ton of censorship, but I have to completely agree with what they're doing here. It seems like the only real appropriate response. You can't stop people from talking about it, and you shouldn't, because it's really important, but you have to stop people from leaking the personal information of the people whose lives have been damaged by this incident that ultimately probably had nothing to do with them.
Yeah.
Nothing they did personally could have possibly merited.
How big Sony is and how many different things they do.
Yeah, and the number of people whose information was leaked is far more than would have worked on an individual film. Like, even possible for all these people to have worked on a single film. So.
Yep. Now, I think the next one is, I believe it was the FBI, but there's a billion. Yeah, the FBI has essentially said that it was North Korea.
Well, hold on a second. Let's be clear. It was a group working on behalf of the North Korean government.
Yeah. So
there's
some people have brought up, there's people that have brought up different things.
They'll change the topic. What do you mean change the topic? No, it's our show. Go.
Wow. He is mad today. There's people that have brought up stuff like it's very easy to potentially translate your code to make it seem like you're someone else, because something that they brought up was that some of the tools and the language and yada yada was in previous attacks against South Korea from North Korea.
Right.
But people brought up that you can try to masquerade as someone else. That's one of the best defenses you can possibly have as a hacker. But I'm kind of assuming that the FBI probably has more information than other people, so they might know for sure. I don't know.
Well, they're spying on absolutely everyone. Not the FBI specifically, but I'm sure, Joe at the FBI knows, like, Jim at the NSA.
They have lunch and brunches and whatnot. Over tea and lipstick conversations.
Now, anyone at the FBI whose name is Joe is like,
oh! How does Linus Tech Tips know about our brunches? Anyways, yeah, so that's not honestly... I don't think there's a ton to talk about that, but this is more coming. This has more information for, like, the States is planning to retaliate in some form.
Proportional response.
Yes,
it's a serious national security matter. They may believe that a response from us in one fashion or another would be advantageous to them. So we're going to make sure we're treading carefully here. Deeply concerned about the destructive nature of this attack on a private sector entity and the ordinary citizens who worked there. North Korea is attacking our infrastructure. It is also attacking our values. The decision to pull the interview from theaters, unfortunately, is a North Korean victory in its attacks on our freedom. We better respond comprehensively to defend freedom of speech in the face of terrorist threats and cyber attacks.
Pretty intense. At the same time, this is where the note that I was looking for previously was. At the same time, they have noted that such attackers are often looking to provoke a response.
Yep.
So they're probably looking for a response, and the United States is going to be giving them one. So they're going to, I guess, with that knowledge in mind, try to make sure that it is the most appropriate thing possible.
It's going to be an interesting period of time.
Yes, it is.
And that last one was posted on the forum by X Tank Slayer X.
Did you post that in the chat?
I did, okay. Yes.
Yeah.
All right, so we've got our next topic here. It looks like we have every source for this topic other than the actual Valve page, so
fantastic.
You'll have to forgive us for that. But Steam Games /gifting is now region locked, due at least partially to the collapse of the Russian currency, the ruble. So I suspect that Valve's just been looking for an excuse to do this for quite some time, because every other industry eventually figures out that if they want to have regionalized pricing, especially for a digital item, they're going to have to lock things down somewhat. It's still something that that I hate a lot, but I understand why they're doing it, because you don't want gaming to just be completely unaffordable to anyone in Russia because Valve is a US-based company and they have to pay in their deteriorating ruble currency.
But then you also don't want certain websites just reselling buckets and buckets of keys because they can get them super cheaply somewhere and sell them elsewhere where they're more expensive.
Right. So this was going to happen eventually. I think that Valve has actually managed the potential community poop storm pretty darn well. I mean, it helps that Valve probably has, like, you know...
It helps that it's happening during the winter sale.
Yeah.
So everyone's like, yay, Valve! Oh, that thing happened. Yay, Valve!
So they probably timed it right. Valve probably has a couple oopsies in their pocket in terms of things the community is going to forgive them for if they kind of screw them up. So,
That's definitely true.
So basically, Steam will no longer allow packages to be unpacked on an account if gifted or traded from a lower-priced region to a higher-priced region. So if Buddy in the US wants to buy a game for Buddy in Russia, then that will work.
Yeah.
Which I guess is a compromise. So there's that.
But Russia, Southeast Asia, South America, Turkey, those countries will not be able to go the other direction.
Yeah.
So you won't be able to buy a game for Buddy in the other countries if you're from there.
So there you have it. This is I mean, the impact of this is more than you might initially think, because especially with the way that entire companies have sprung up around discount games based on buying from one region and selling to another one. Their entire business model
literally just disappeared.
Completely killed. One fell swoop from Valve, and Valve is going to be able to increase their revenues as a direct result of this right here, because you won't be able to find that AAA game on launch day for $10 less than you would have otherwise had to pay. You might have to wait a week. Which I guess actually
leads
us...
You might have to wait a week.
Speaking of which... drop in price. Yeah, we have a topic about that.
Do we?
Yeah, GameStop.
Oh, yeah.
GameStop president Tony Bartel, this was posted by Mark21200, says that digital games are too cheap.
Oh, no. Like, I gotta get down there.
If you put in a T, you would have had it.
A T?
Yeah, GameStop.
Right? See, like, I don't know
Wait,
why
why aren't you
working.
able to... That's weird.
I don't know.
Yeah, no space. That's weird. You're on the right dock.
Yeah, like, I don't know why I can't find it.
Well,
Can you get that link then?
Yeah, sure.
Okay.
I'll post the link for you guys in the Twitch chat anyway.
I know about it. I've read about this. Okay, I have to preface this a little bit. I know on the show a lot of the time that I'm up here defending physical games. I'm not going to defend this dude.
Yeah, we've had enough arguments on this show.
Yeah, well, no.
I will wreck you when it comes to physical games.
Well, no, I like physical games, but I don't think that means that they should be...
I like physical games, too.
It's probably the best show to possibly do that on. I can't defend the dude trying to say that digital games are too cheap. Like, I don't care. My defense for physical games is stuff like when there's a 50 gigabyte game and someone has a bad internet connection.
Yeah.
Then go buy the physical game, and I hope that option is always there, even if it just becomes GameStop doesn't freaking exist anymore and you have to go order your game on Amazon. Amazon does a pretty good job of making sure that you get your game on release day.
Yep.
So that can solve that problem. I don't care about being able to walk into the store. My video game store locally will probably always exist because they're into buying and selling old retro games. They have multifaceted their business very well. That's why they still exist.
So it won't be until digital-only games are retro that they'll really run into trouble.
Yes.
By that time, the owners, because it's just like a mom-and-pop shop, will probably not be interested in running Willow Video anymore anyway.
So, like, it's not I'm not worried about the one store that I actually care about. And I'm not super worried about physical games completely disappearing.
Are you worried about GameStop?
No. I'm not worried about GameStop. And, like, this dude's just wrong.
He does have a valid point, and this does tie into our segue here, where the joke was a AAA title comes out for $59.99, and the next week it's going to be $49.99.
Civilization Beyond Earth got, like, a 50% discount on Winter Sale or something.
It's been out for what, a month?
Not that long.
Not even a month, I think. So it's one of the. So
Sure.
he does make a couple of good points. So the average sale price. So a recent survey showed that the average price a consumer pays for a AAA title download is $22, and
Okay, there's no sources for any of this.
no sources for any of that. Although I wouldn't think that that's completely out of the question, especially if you were
It
to
came out late October.
especially if you were to factor in okay, so just over a month for Civilization Beyond Earth. Especially if you were to factor in that many AAA titles are going to be older ones that are being sold bundled with other things or at
Yep.
$5 or whatever the case may be. I totally believe that number. And when asked how much they would be willing to pay, apparently, this is no source for this.
No sources.
Consumers said approximately $35, although I kind of believe that number too. I'd pay $30-$40 for a AAA game. I think the most expensive one I bought in the last little while was South Park Stick of Truth. That thing held its freaking price forever. I was sitting and waiting.
I think it's like finally on sale now.
Is it finally on sale?
Yeah.
Well, whatever. I played it already.
Yeah, no, I know. That one took a while for sure.
Screw you, Trey Parker and Matt Stone. I'm just kidding. I love you guys, but the last episode or the last season of South Park really sucked.
I don't. No matter
Anyway.
how wonderful it is, I don't think games should be discounted so quickly.
Yes.
Because I think you're ripping profits away from companies. Anyways,
Yes.
but that's up to them.
So he has a point.
But that's up to them.
But he has a point about the fact that digital games can be discounted so readily and so easily, just on a whim. Oh, it's not moving fast enough. Oh, discount the whole thing, ignoring that traditional supply chain and process that existed for discounting. It potentially does damage publishers and developers, but he's not talking about this out of concern for them.
No.
It has nothing to do with that. It has to do with concern for his own business, because if he cared that much about the due process of dropping the prices of games or whatever else, then why weren't we hearing from him, back when NCIX was trying to sell hard copies of video games 5 years ago and didn't get any price protection when there were price drops and all this stuff that GameStop definitely does get to enjoy, at least for the limited amount of time that they will still be around. So I guess that's all we really have to say about. That's all I have to say about that.
Yeah, I'm good and done.
Good luck with that, GameStop.
Yeah, exactly.
All right.
I don't know why I couldn't find that topic. Should we?
That Cool Blue Kid posted on the forum. This is from kitguru.net, also assassinscreed.ubi.com. Are you posting this in the forum? I'll go ahead and throw it up on the
Try
screen.
and find this one again.
Is your just search not working?
Got it,
Oh no, you
got
got
it.
this. You got this. All right. So Linus's screen, patch 4 on hold.
My
Now-
favorite quote from this. Can I just quote something real quick?
You
I
may.
think it's in the notes.
You may.
Ubisoft. Rigorous quality control is of paramount importance to us, and your feedback over these past weeks has indicated that it is important to you as well. We are choosing to hold off until we can give you the improvements we've promised. We are committing to delivering major performance improvements, which requires that we refurbish the Paris map, and it will be a few more days until we can hit that high level of quality our players deserve.
Okay, can I have some fun with this for a little bit?
Sure.
Because you got to read it, and that was pretty fun.
Yep, go for it.
Okay, so first up, Ubisoft, choosing to hold off until we can give you what we promised. That's the kind of thing you do before you take the money, not when people already have the product and you get to kind of sit on ass. Like I am usually the first one to applaud a game developer or publisher or anyone involved in the process of releasing a game to the public. I'm the first one to applaud them for holding off until it's ready. That just does not apply to patches. Patches are supposed to be dealt with quick, fast, and putting them on hold is super bad. Okay, and the second one that's really fun. We are committed to blah, 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 major performance improvements, which requires that we refurbish the Paris map. Now, what other map is there in Assassin's Creed Unity? Can I get some clarification on this? I'm sorry, is there a London map? Is there a Zimbabwe, map?
Zimbabwe map.
Yeah, is there like
They go on vacation sometimes.
Is there a Tokyo map? Like, what other map is there? The way that they spun this is hilarious. We have to refurbish our Paris map. You mean the entire game world? Is that what you mean to say, Ubisoft? You have to refurbish the entire game world? Because I can understand why the patch is on hold if that's what you need to do. And I think we all know that that's what you need to do because the game was limited because there's way too many draw calls on the PC and they couldn't be arsed to fix it, even though some idiot with a podcast already knows that that's the problem.
And yes, it's because of light bouncing and stuff, but the draw calls is the base essential part of the problem.
634 comments. This might be fun.
Oh god. We need like another, because like I think they're done digging. I think we need like a hat, like a dunce cap or
Look
something.
at this. The first cap or the first post is already excellent. Oh man, how about more forewarning next time? I mean, you tell us on the day it was supposed to be released that it won't be coming out. Surely you knew beforehand that you were running behind.
Oh no.
Oh.
I'm also disappointed that the console versions have been patched and the PC one hasn't.
Yeah, that's from Moork on the Assassin's Creed.
Mo0RK.
Yeah.
Mo0RK.
Yeah,
I'm not
he tried to
pronouncing
spell. Or she. And it didn't work.
Nope.
This is just more of a like sciencey news thing, not really gaming, definitely tech. The Mars rover Curiosity confirms organics on Mars. Now, they did find traces. Oh, this was posted by Devilish Booster on the forum, by the way.
I'll get that link in chat, you guys. Just
Yeah.
give me a moment.
So they did find traces before, but it was considered to be unconfirmed because they weren't sure if the rover itself had brought the things that they found before. Well, now they are definitely sure. So whether they were delivered by carbon-rich meteorites or actually formed on Mars is something that could take years and most definitely new equipment on the surface of Mars in order for them to actually ascertain for certain. Can you say ascertain for certain? Because certain is kind of the root of the word ascertain.
I'm
not
really
sure.
think so, but maybe.
Yeah, I don't think so.
know.
You heard it here first. Ascertain for certain. And
Mars is an extremely volatile place. Like it's going to be hard for that kind of stuff to survive. Which makes sense, which is why a lot of people think that it's probably from asteroids. But there's also the interesting things of like the methane gas very specifically, so it could be spurting out from below the surface. There could be something there. Pretty interesting.
yeah, it's exciting. I
Yes.
mean, who knows? Okay,
I just kind of wanted to have this topic in here so people could hear about it and then research it more on their own.
if Musk gets his way and sends like, how many people do you want to send? Like 1 million?
He wanted to send 1 million,
Yeah.
and I know it's going to be like spurt, 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 and then it's supposed to be bigger ones after that.
Not all
But
at once?
The end goal is having like 1 million people on Mars.
Okay, would you go to Mars?
I haven't talked to you about this. Have I talked to you about
I
this?
don't think so.
I have tried contacting him to see if I could sign up.
Okay.
So
Is there any reason that Linus Media Group couldn't run from Mars? What would be
by the time that he put 1 million people there,
Yeah.
it would probably be fine.
like what kind of because okay, like all we really have to do is we would have to if we're gonna make videos about the latest CPU, that'll be a bit of an issue.
Not necessarily, because you know that like that robot thing that kind of rolls around and has the screen on it. Mm-hmm. Just get way better versions of that. VR suits, wear like that control VR thing that we had, and then just go in little rooms. Then you can just do things on Earth. There'll be latency issues, but it could work.
Posted by Dirty Harry on the forum. The original article here is from Mashable.com. Double amputee controls bionic arms with his minds.
The best segue that ever happened in the history of WAN Show.
So this is pretty freaking cool. Now, to be clear, guys, it's not. He's not going to be playing racquetball yet. Did you post the link already?
Nope, got it.
He's not going to be playing racquetball anytime soon. But he has to move the shoulder, then the elbow, then the wrist.
Which I wanted to bring this up in like a design standpoint. That's actually a really good place to start from, because then you just start making things more fluid. Having all of those already working is extremely important.
It's required extensive training. It is not by any means finished yet, but the team is hoping that they will be able to send him home with a pair of working arms by the end of this project, which is
pretty freaking
amazing.
Cool. Yeah.
I mean, this is some Star Wars stuff right here. This is like Mark Hamill, end of the Empire Strikes Back type stuff going on here.
Pretty freaking cool.
Absolutely incredible. And he's moving it with his mind. Like, he had to undergo some painful stuff in order to make this happen. What do they call it?
Reawaken nerves.
Re-enervation or something?
Re-enervation? Yeah, I think so.
It sounds awful.
It does. It does not sound good at all. And they had to also, where is it? No. Yeah, reawaken, but there's a different word for it. Re-enervating.
Yeah.
There we go. Yeah, it's no good. And they're using some of the nerve endings from his chest as well. They've brought some over, that probably wasn't exactly a fantastic process either.
Yeah.
So, I don't know.
Yeah, what a horrifying process it is right now. But think of the implications for generations to come though. That's fantastic.
Yeah, this is probably one of the most important things going on right now. I know there's stuff that we're probably going to talk about later with like the Hyperloop and some other really cool things, but being able to re-enable people that have lost or damaged limbs very heavily is really cool.
And think of the implications for just people who haven't lost limbs but want like better limbs.
Yep.
Yeah.
Because this is going to help stuff like exosuits.
Oh yeah, exosuits happen in my lifetime.
Exosuit dance? Well,
No,
they're
the
already
exosuit
kind of a thing.
There is an exosuit dance.
Oh. Oh. Exosuits are already a thing, but they can get a lot better.
Speaking of things that can get a lot better, your shaving experience. Yes, one of our sponsors today is Dollar Shave Club. Visit dollarshaveclub.com/Linus. I butchered the URL, but that's okay because you can see it. Visit dollarshaveclub.com/Linus in order to start shaving time and shaving money. You get high quality razors delivered directly to your door once a month, and I'm using a Jedi mind trick on you right now. Join Dollar Shave Club. They don't really talk like that.
These are the razors you're looking for.
You want Dollar Shave Club to send the postman or lady to your house once a month to bring you razors and shaving butter and One Wipe Charlie's, their peppermint scented butt wipes for men. I mean, you know,
that is not the easiest thing to say.
The thing about the peppermint scented butt wipes for men, they're pre-moistened, and I don't understand why we don't already use moistened butt wipes. Quite frankly, you can do a much better job that way.
Toilet paper is actually like not a super great. That's why like not the whole world uses it.
Yeah. So there you go. Dollar Shave Club's flushable butt wipes, an advancement in technology that we can really get our faces in. Butts behind, thank you. Or faces in, or both. All right, so moving on to our next sponsor. Aha, yes, Intel Holiday Deal. So you're going to want to visit the link in the Linus Tech Tips forum, which I will go ahead and I will post somewhere.
I'm trying to find it.
Copy link URL. Maybe if I got it.
Okay.
Okay, so you're going to want to visit there, but Intel has lots of holiday deals going on for the holidays. Deals on processors, NUCs, and SSDs. They have had some crazy crap going on SSDs. During Black Friday, did you see the 730 deals on Newegg?
I almost bought those.
That was ridiculous.
If it wasn't for the Canadian version of Newegg having not nearly as cool of a deal, I probably would have done it.
That was, what was it, like 99 for a 240 gig or something, like 120?
It was essentially $100 for a 240 gig.
Yeah.
And then in Canada it was like 160.
So they've got some Newegg deals, like the $110 off the 4930K, which is actually an outstanding processor, and given that you don't have to invest in DDR4 memory, potentially a way better option right now if you're looking to go 6-core versus the 5930K or even the 5820K. They've got $50 off the 4970K and over 50% off some SSDs, including the 240 gig 730 series. Look at this, I'm reading my notes. I already knew about that deal, dog. So these deals are running until December the 20th. Also, I have another link for you guys. You should check out a giveaway that we're running from Intel right now. Copy link URL. I hate it when it's not just the normal contextual menu. Thank you for that. All right, so we're also giving away 2 Core i7 5820K 6-core processors. So go ahead and head over to that thread for the full details and to get signed up for a chance to win.
Yeah.
So thank you again to our sponsors, Dollar Shave Club and, and Intel. So Dollar Shave Club, what if they had Dollar Slave Club and they deliver you a new slave every month?
Like old school slave hard drive?
Yeah. No. Or what if they had, what if on the first
I don't
month,
know if I like where this is going.
what if on the first month they send you your slave and then every month they send you a new club to hit him with because you wear it out? Dollar Slave Club.
I don't like this conversation. I don't think you should be able to weigh in political topics anymore. Therefore, I think I win the Sony conversation.
I am a nun.
Oh,
I actually
back wrecked.
I can't be wrong.
Okay, this is not going somewhere where I want to continue talking. Elon Musk likes Hyperloops. We're going to go there now. Hyperloop train research has been progressing. It hasn't just been sitting there. A company named Hyperloop Transport Technologies, or HTT, has gone together with UCLA students and some actually pretty intense engineers from places like Boeing, Airbus, and SpaceX, who are all willing to work on Hyperloop in their spare time in exchange for some pretty solid stock options. So they've got a lot of the proof of concepts down. They've got the map of where they would want it to go down. They're getting close to the idea of making a prototype. They're not like, we are making a prototype, but they're getting close to that. One of the things that they're still kind of fighting with is how they're going to do the actual train. The tube itself is not that much of a question anymore, and it's kind of in between like air compressors and an air hockey style pushing of the trains, which is what Musk has suggested, or magnetic levitation, which is what a lot of the engineers on the project right now are suggesting. So really cool. Apparently, sorry.
I was just going to say, the speed that they're expected to travel at is about Mach 1, so that's about the speed of sound, which is pretty fantastic if you want to get from, I don't know, Boston to somewhere geographically relevant to Boston, because I'm not that good with my U.S. geography.
Yeah. Investors will need to find and raise $6 to $10 billion to build the first 400-mile loop, and they would obviously have to prototype before that. Extremely expensive, but this could be what we're looking into in terms of future mass transportation.
Hey, Robbie G's with me. A slave is for life, not just for Christmas.
Can we not do this at all, please? Let's just move on.
Our next topic was going to be Ubisoft and then the Mars rover.
Now it's Eric Schmidt being weird.
Oh, what is he thinking? So this was posted by Spider Loser on the forum. This is actually a topic from last week. Let's go ahead and fire this up. But Eric Schmidt, so one of the founders of Google, chairman and former CEO of Google, basically came out and said he believes that concerns of machines stealing jobs and taking over the world is unwarranted. Now, I think taking over the world is a bit of a stretch, but to imagine that machines aren't going to steal jobs is asinine. Like, he's a super smart guy, so he must know something that he's not telling us, because okay, so there were a couple other things he said. So number one is that scientists developed, this was an experiment from a few years ago where scientists developed a neural network and fed it 11,000 hours of YouTube videos to see what it could learn. It discovered the concept of cat, apparently, and he goes, I'm not quite sure what to say about that, except that's where we are. Except that's not where we are. That was a few years ago, and it was a random experiment. And the fact that it just figured out the concept of cat...
It's freaking amazing. Do you not get that? That's crazy. And 11,000 hours of YouTube videos. The computer didn't have to, sit in front of a screen and go these are interesting YouTube videos. It's a computer. It probably did it, crazy fast. And it learned what a cat is. That's nuts. This is super cool. He tries to... Sorry,
And there's another complete BS thing. According to Schmidt, people have been concerned about machines taking over the world for centuries. Go back to the history of the loom. There was absolute dislocation, but I think all of us are better off with more mechanized ways of getting clothes made. Yes.
Not even remotely comparable. God! Sorry, you can keep going if you want.
No, that was pretty much it.
Very not stoked.
I think it's ridiculous. I mean, to imagine for a second. Okay. So you could make the argument that more people, like, okay, more wealth in general, and less need to pursue the essentials, your food and your shelter and your clean water and all that kind of stuff. So making that stuff much easier to access opens up the doors for, let's say, careers like making YouTube videos about, tech crap that, quite frankly, a lot of what we talk about, nobody really needs. It's just stuff that we want and enjoy and... Right, okay.
We're talking about things people don't need. We're dressed up as girls. It's not exactly required to advance the...
Yeah, like, okay, so the loom enabled things like clothes to be, or not necessarily the loom, but even more mechanized clothing manufacturing and fabric manufacturing enabled us to cheaply buy costumes that are just literally for one-time use.
Yeah.
And have it be inexpensive enough that we can afford to do that. But the problem is not a technology problem. It is a societal and a political problem that is going to take these people and put them out of jobs.
Yep.
Because if we just kind of went, yes, we have ample resources and everything is fine, everyone should just have food, and whether it's a stamp program or whether it's cash money program or however it works, if there was a system in place, this wouldn't be a problem. The problem is that there is no system in place, and people will
far from a
lose
system in place.
their jobs.
And all we've seen is the wealth gap increasing over the past years to degrees which are absolutely ridiculous. Stuff like the loom was able to augment workers and help them be much more efficient, which did reduce jobs necessarily in that field, but also at a time when we needed labor workers in other areas. What AI is going to do is completely remove the need in a vast amount of industries to the point of basically everything at a certain degree. They've already proved that they can replace some pretty crazy stuff, which you wouldn't expect. Even just the transportation industry as a whole, the entire thing is extremely close to being able to be replaced already. And that's a huge proportion of even U.S. jobs.
Imagine if next they went after the people who look at animals and sort them into which ones are cats.
They taught it what a cat was. That's actually awesome.
So I wasn't being serious about that.
I'm not personally against the idea of AI. I just think we really need to be ready for what it could potentially do to humanity as a whole. And I do not think we are. There's countries that are working on it. Last that I've heard, Sweden has started working on different ways that they can augment lower work hours but similar quality of life, or the same quality of life for people.
Yeah, what
places
was it?
Are working on this.
I think car manufacturer somewhere.
I think
over
it was car manufacturing, and I think what happened is they knocked off one whole day a week, and then they made it so that it was a less. I think it was 6 hours instead of 8-hour work days, but then kept their wages the same. And they've actually found that they worked a lot harder when they were at work.
Yeah.
So it didn't even change how necessarily productive they were, and a lot of car manufacturing is very automated these days. Look at the Tesla factory. The only people working there mainly are checking things, making sure machines are running fine, making sure the process was done okay. It's basically all automated. People need to wake up, realize that a shoot ton of jobs are going to be completely replaced, and not augmented and improved, and people can go work elsewhere. Where those people would go work elsewhere are also going to be replaced.
I mean, imagine this for a second. Just for a lark, would you go to a fully automated restaurant where you sit down at your table and the table is like a touchscreen tablet where you go menu. You drag your menus over to where you are, and you kind of go blippity bloop, I want this one. Here's some special instructions for the kitchen. And you never see anyone come to your table. And then the layout of the restaurant, they have a very rudimentary version of this that I've seen at some sushi places, where everything will just be on a little track.
Yeah, it floats by you.
And it floats by you and you take it. Except instead of it being like that, where it's not smart, you have a smart system for that. So the kitchen basically puts it on the thing, and then it comes and gets off right next to your table. You bring it, you eat it. Anytime you need an extra drink, you just have you have a spot on the table with a little optical sensor. Anytime the drink is empty, new drink shows up. and you put the old one on the cart, it
Honestly,
goes back to the kitchen. I mean,
I'd be completely okay with it. What I'm going to want to
have the
focus
technology
on.
for that today.
Yeah, exactly.
And people
that
have
replaces a huge industry.
people have demonstrated that they hate tipping.
Yep.
So taking away those jobs, the ones that rely on tips, people are going to embrace that stuff. And that is a lot of jobs. I mean, food services here in Vancouver
Huge.
anyway is enormous.
Massive. And that's a huge... Take out transportation and food services. That's potential to be done in the next year or two. That's two massive industries. Like, huge. And that's totally true. And people have brought up, like,
Year or two to have the technology, not a year or
Yes.
two before businesses have invested enough to
It'll take quite a while
replace
for
their
people
staff.
to actually invest in everything. But, like, what was I trying to say? Crap, I don't remember where I was going.
I would call my chain Robo's Diner.
Robo's Diner. Right, okay. Talking about Robos. People talked about when it was starting to happen where they were bringing automated telling machines into grocery stores, which are super not advanced.
Apparently there's a restaurant in the Netherlands that uses holograms and touchscreens for ordering food from your table.
There you go.
So there you go.
It's already happening. So automated tellers in places like fast food restaurants and grocery stores, a lot of people were super against. There was a very large uproar. And then, do you even hear that anymore? When I go to the grocery store, I usually actually prefer to go through the automated teller because I'm like, I will go much faster.
Yep.
Like if I go to Home Depot, for example, and I have to buy something, I had to go buy screws the other day. And I'm like, I walk up to the thing, there's a line of tellers, and there's the automated machine. So I'm like, well, walk up to the automated machine, scan, pay, gone. It was super fast. I didn't have to deal with anyone who I could tell hated everything that they were doing.
Once Apple Pay comes to Canada, it'll be even faster.
Yep.
Scan, touch the thing, and then leave. Like, even faster.
Yeah. A lot of jobs are going to go away. It's not like one industry and one part of one industry. It's everything that will be affected.
We should be okay for a while yet.
Japan's already working on replacing newscasters,
Yeah, I saw
which is
that.
really similar to our jobs.
Sort of. We do other things too.
I know.
Like, okay, newscasters will be a lot easier to replace
Yes.
than entertainers.
I'm just
And
saying
I
it's
consider us
in the same field.
somewhere in between.
It's in the same field. And like one thing that Hollywood's already started working on, like if you remember Tron, they like scanned the dude's face and then barely used him.
Yep. And did you see how amazing in COD Advanced Warfare? Crap, I forget his name.
The guy that plays
Kaiser
the dude-
Sose.
Kaiser Sose.
Yeah. Kevin Spacey. Thank you.
There you go.
Yeah, Kevin Spacey. Yeah, he plays Kaiser Sose.
Yeah,
in
no,
The
I
Usual
was thinking
Suspects.
of the actor's name. And
Yeah,
I
I couldn't remember.
I got bounced all over
but
the
yeah, Kevin Spacey looked freaking awesome in that game.
ridiculously good. Like that section can be replaced. It can happen. Yeah. Some people are like, I've been told by Taryn, they're like, oh yeah, well, you'll never be able to automate editing. Like, dude, that'll happen.
It will take a lot longer.
It will take a lot longer.
Like,
of course.
you'll be able to automate the editing of something like a newscast much more easily
Yep.
than you'll be able to automate the editing of something artistic or funny. But
But they've already proven that they can have robots that can make music, and they can already proven that they can make robots that can create humor. So it probably won't take as long as expected.
something seems to be confusing about the chat.
Everyone's saying F.
Okay.
Oh, right. Press F to pay respects. It's a COD meme. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it.
Oh, okay. COD things. All right, so Microsoft condemns the U.S. government in their latest video ad.
We should show this.
This is amazing.
Have you seen it?
Yeah,
Oh, God. Whew.
They did not pull any punches on this one. Oh, unfortunately, it's not captioned. I thought it was. Yeah, there it is. People and organizations rely on the cloud to do many of the things they care about. Basically, it's all a bunch of touchy-feely footage of, people
People are more connected. Things are
working
more
and
efficient.
being
People like the
connected
cloud.
and-
People use the cloud.
blah, 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 blah.
Yada,
And so basically Microsoft's point in this video, very, very aggressively worded, is that
Yeah.
just because it's data doesn't mean that it can't be
Have you
located
posted
outside
this?
of your jurisdiction. So the U.S. government is basically trying to get
Who
some...
posted this?
I'm sorry?
Have you posted this?
Yes. So the U.S. government is trying to get at some emails that Microsoft is storing on a server in Ireland, and instead of working through the Irish government, the way that they would have to do it if there was someone or something physically there,
They were holding mail there.
they're just trying to get around it and do this whole thing digitally and force Microsoft to submit this data to them. And this is really, really important because whether you're American or not, what the U.S. does with respect to internet policy is going to have an impact on everyone, especially if they win this and they're able to get access to data that is not stored on American servers, because that's looking like one of the only last refuges for keeping your data safe from the prying of the U.S. government is to store it on servers that aren't in America. And so Apple and Cisco said that the tech sector is put at risk of being sanctioned by foreign governments, and the U.S. should seek cooperation with foreign nations via treaties, a position that the U.S. said is not practical. I mean, Microsoft's point in the video, and you should watch the video, is really good. Are people going to entrust their data to the cloud if they feel like anyone could be looking at it? No, because, I mean, are we going to go back to snail mail? Is that what this is going to come to? Because the last time I checked, no one's allowed to open your mail. That's a crime.
Yeah.
That's a crime.
It's the same thing. I'm going to jump off a little bit right here, but it's the same kind of idea where there was something recently passed in Canada, which is police are allowed to check out all the contents of your phone in relation to what they arrested you for if they arrest you without a warrant. So they're able to look through your phone for things that could have something to do with what you got arrested for without getting a warrant for any reason. And they're obviously going to have to look through a whole bunch of stuff to find things that are related to what you possibly just did.
So I should just make sure that there's some really awful stuff on my phone that they don't want to see?
Probably.
Is that the strategy?
But like it's crazy because like if you were speeding, they could be like, well, I need to look through your text messages in entirety to figure out if you have talked about a race that you might have possibly been in. Like that's a potential situation. And all of the things that are on your phone in other forms are guarded by warrants. You can't check someone's mail without a warrant. You can't check someone's phone records without a warrant. But apparently your cell phone has nothing to do with that. And that's not really okay.
The problem is that the laws aren't keeping up because 5 years ago, that may have actually been a valid point because a phone wouldn't have really, maybe not even 5, maybe 8 years ago, a phone wouldn't have contained, all of your personal financial information, for example.
It would have your phone records.
Whereas now...
Which is something you need a warrant for.
Whereas now your phone can contain a lot of stuff that traditionally would have only been allowed to be sent by mail because of security concerns, things like credit card statements or mortgage documents or whatever else, most of which can be done digitally now.
So that's like a really big deal, and that happened in Canada recently. The only reason why I brought that up, I know I don't really bring up Canadian politics stuff very often.
Yeah, because no one cares about Canada.
Pretty much. But it's because it's kind of similarly related. Laws that are coming up and things that are trying to be done that contradict and go against things that we've had for a long time, like needing to work with governments to do something in someone else's soil. That's been a thing forever.
Yeah, don't touch my soil. Without my permission. Yeah. Perch buys AnonTech. So these are the same guys that own Tom's Hardware already. We'll just fire... This was posted by Alex Goes High on the forum. We'll just fire up perch.com. So I'm not really sure what to think of this because I mean some of the stuff that I hear about Tom's Hardware would go a little bit deeper than what actually appears on their website with respect to, what advertiser relationships are like with them. I mean, a good thing, and so there's a statement from Ryan Smith, who took over for Anand, the guy who started AnonTech. So they have a statement from him, blah, 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 grown by leaps and bounds. We are nearing what is possible as an independent company. The challenge has always been that there are very few players in the publishing space these days who value deep, high-quality content. We wanted a partner that understood our values and had a sound business model, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So basically, they wanted someone to support their business and find advertisers and find deals for them that would allow them to, pay their salaries and do their jobs. So they wanted someone who appreciated how much more work goes into a single article at AnonTech versus at, let's say Gizmodo or Engadget or something like that. And I'm not saying no one at Engadget works hard on an article. That's not the statement I'm making at all. I'm saying that typically, word for word, there's going to be more of them in the AnonTech article, and they will often have more research and more benchmarking and numbers.
They're a different style. AnonTech is going to be a long form, extremely in-depth, informative style stuff. Stuff like Engadget is going to be fairly quick. You're
digestible.
Yes, you're going to get the news quickly, and it's going to be fairly quick to be able to read. It's not a... Yeah.
So there you go. AnonTech represents much of my life's work over the past 18 years, said Anand Shimpi, the founder. I'm happy to see it end up with a partner committed to taking good care of the brand and its readers. I wouldn't have had it any other way. With all of that said, it's not like Ryan or Anand had any choice but to make really positive statements about it, and I'm sure if I was selling Linus Media Group to AT&T or something, I would spin it as the most positive possible thing for Linus Media Group and its employees and its viewers. But who knows? Might be great, might be fine. Tom's Hardware hasn't imploded yet, so there you go.
If we sold to AT&T, I would just become a monk.
You'd become a monk?
Yeah.
Well, I'd be a nun. I had a few people sort of accuse AnonTech of selling out. You know what? Selling the business is not necessarily the same thing as selling out. I mean, yes, Anand left the site. I think that he left it in fairly capable hands based on, my interactions with the guys that are there, reading the articles written by the guys that are there. And ultimately, content is king. And then if they've found a partner that's going to own the site, that's going to make sure that it's monetized correctly, then, I don't think he's sold out so much as sold, which is not really the same thing.
No.
And then I had people discussing in the forum thread on this topic whether, if Linus was going to sell out or whatever else. No, I intend to run Linus Media Group for a really long time. But one thing that I will say is, talk to me 17 years from now, and maybe I feel a little differently. Maybe I'm ready for a new challenge, and the younger, more invigorated team that I left behind is ready to run Linus Media Group on its own.
My goal is going to be, and yours, and I think everyone's here, is that we are Linus Media Group, not necessarily just Linus Tech Tips. We've done stuff like Tech Quickie. We've tried to make things that are still really interesting to us. People like Superfun. We started Superfun.
Yep.
But we're not just one singular website.
And we might not always just be video even.
Yeah. Who knows? We're going to keep evolving, and I'm going to try and keep this dude interested. And I think he's going to try and keep everyone else here interested. So
that whip. Nothing keeps people more interested than a whip.
That nun costume just got real interesting.
All right, posted on the forum by X-Tank Slayer X.
I'm
Hatred was removed from Steam Greenlight for a day after its launch. And, apparently I'm not a member of their forum, so I won't be viewing that particular topic.
All right, then.
Let's try the next link here. And I can't bring that one up either. Well, whatever. There's nothing I can do for you guys. So our source here, X-Tank Slayer X posted this, and it's forums.hatredgame.com. And basically it was pulled down. Gabe Newell himself reinstated the game on Greenlight 1 day later, so that was December 16th, and personally emailed the creator to apologize and inform him that the game was to be placed back on Steam Greenlight. In the letter, he said, "Since I wasn't up to speed on why this decision was made, I asked around internally to find out why we had done that, taken Hatred down. It turns out that it wasn't a good decision, and we'll be putting Hatred back up. My apologies to you and your team. Steam is creating tools for content creators and customers. Good luck with your game." Now, I guess I see why it might have been pulled. Hatred is a game where you play as the antagonist. Basically, you're a mass murderer and you go on a killing spree. The entire point of the game is to kill innocent civilians and police officers. Steam pulled the game just hours after it was launched, And VP of Marketing at Valve stated, based on what we've seen on Greenlight, we would not publish Hatred on Steam. As such, we'll be taking it down, without really elaborating on the decision. In fact, we still don't know exactly why the decision was made at Valve to pull it down. We just know that Gabe Newell came in and stomped in the way that only someone who weighs as much as Gabe Newell can. Sorry, I love you, Gabe. Winter Sail is amazing. Sorry, I shouldn't take shots at you for weighing a lot. And now it's back up. So this is one that, I don't know, what are your personal feelings? Should there be a limit to what Valve should be willing to publish on Steam?
I think they just need to have, I guess, better predefined metrics. Like, you're running a store. You can decide what you want to be in your store. And of course,
you can.
There's this weird thing where people can vote stuff in, but you still have veto power. You should be able to remove things. And this becomes a fairly interesting thing where a lot of internet platforms are seen as public resources instead of companies. And this happens a lot. And like they should do this, and then everyone will get very mad at them because they didn't do something the way they wanted them to, while it's a company still. It's an interesting conversation. I think they should have better defined metrics. Like, okay, if your game is specifically about mass murder and specifically about killing innocent civilians and specifically about killing police officers who weren't doing anything wrong and
other than their jobs
and like specifically designed to be a game about essentially genocide and specifically designed for these things, maybe we don't want that on our service. And if that exists, if that is a metric that they have, then I think it's okay.
Because
it wasn't.
Yeah, because there are games like GTA 5 or Watch Dogs where you can run around and gun down civilians and gun down police officers with, I guess, the justification for that being that the rules of the world do somewhat apply. You know, they'll send bigger and bigger law enforcement after you, and you know, or the public can turn against you in Watch Dogs or whatever else. Like, it's not considered something that the player is rewarded for.
Yeah, and it's not necessarily your specific goal. It's definitely something you can partake in the game.
It's definitely something you can do. A game like Carmageddon, you could make the argument it's a racing game. It would be a weak argument, but you could make the argument that it is a racing game.
But
at
this
least
game specifically is like, yes, please kill innocent people. And please
people are bringing
officers.
up Manhunt as an
Manhunt.
example of
There's a couple. There's Manhunt. There's that other one that I can't remember the name of. Postal. I think it's called
Postal. Cough, Payday 2. So yes, there are examples of stuff like this, but I guess basically the problem is that Valve didn't draw the line, and you don't get to draw the line after the fact. So I suspect right now they're in the process of internal meetings about where they're going to draw the line, because let's say, for example, that Hatred had been baby Hatred, and the entire game was, you know, like AAA graphics, tearing apart babies in front of their mothers, and then, you know, committing sexual assault on the... Like you could come up with a game that literally shouldn't be allowed to be published anywhere, and I think Valve just has to define where their line in the sand is going to be drawn.
Especially now that they have a voting system. They need to come up with predefined metrics for what cannot get through the voting system and what they're going to veto. I think there wasn't enough communication here on Valve's side as to those types of things. And I think if they wanted to pull something like Hatred down, they should have pulled related games down. People brought up that, I don't know, I haven't looked for it because I'm not interested in this, but people brought up that I think Postal's on Steam or something. So like, if they wanted to do this, they probably should have taken down games that were essentially the same idea. But yeah.
Okay, so let's move on to something a little bit more fun. This was the original article is from the Tech Report. All right, can you post that?
Yeah.
And this was posted by Ah Ming on the forum, and this looks actually pretty awesome.
I really like this thing.
Lee & Lee is using flexible PCI Express extensions. I sure wish they would do an external power supply and make them smaller, as well as glass, so tempered glass panels, and wall mounting support to make some pretty amazing and unique cases. These look fantastic.
Looked really nice. Now, okay, that one's a little big.
That one's a little big. So just for context, guys, here, this is a 3.5-inch drive. This is a full-size ATX power supply, and this is a full-sized gaming-grade graphics card.
And that's an
like an
ATX
Asus
motherboard.
Strix or something like that.
Yeah.
And that's a full-size ATX board.
Yeah.
Give me this basic concept with an ITX board.
Yep, they had that.
Yeah, so... Where is it? Oh, whatever.
I think it's
Okay.
up. I think it's the original picture.
Yeah, there we go.
Yeah.
So give me the same basic concept, except tone it down even more. I don't need a 3.5-inch drive. I don't want a power supply internally. All this stuff. And this is a really, really cool concept.
I think my mom might be calling.
Oh, lordy.
Do we answer and hear what she has to say about murder games?
I really think it's a bad idea.
Okay. Sorry, Mom. We probably know what your stance is on murder games. We're gonna go with Mom doesn't like murder games.
My mom doesn't like murder games either. My mom doesn't like games in general.
Oh, my mom likes games.
I think the only
My mom
game...
played Skyrim and WoW and stuff.
I think the only game a member of my family ever bought for me was I got the Warcraft 2 battle chest from my grandparents, and they never got me a game again because I'm pretty sure my mom gave them heck when I wasn't looking.
My mom used to play WoW, and I remember one time she got ganked in, I'm going to say the wrong thing, but it's a foresty area. Stranglethorn? No, I don't know, whatever, it doesn't matter. And my whole guild went and protected her. No.
Just kidding.
Not at all. My whole guild went and protected her, and it was like the Mom Defense League. And we made sure that she couldn't get ganked by other people. It was fantastic.
Wow.
Anyway, oh.
So the Pirate Bay shutdown is a lesson in futility.
Sorry, Mom.
Got lots of articles from
down.
Variety.com. This was posted by Powderbanks on the forum. And in a nutshell, it affected... So you guys may or may not know this, but the official Pirate Bay was... The servers were raided. It's like Le shutdown.
Yeah.
It has had virtually no effect on digital piracy levels whatsoever. Okay, there is an effect, but it was small and probably not lasting. So my on-screen keyboard is like, is this? Can you just not XPS?
You could have just pressed the X on it.
No, because it keeps coming back if I don't flip the screen.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
It doesn't happen very often, but
Yeah.
during the show.
Did you
it's
post
frustrating.
this, by the way?
So total, no, I didn't. If you want to go ahead and post
Yeah,
that.
alright.
Total BitTorrent users barely dropped during the Pirate Bay's downtime. So 101.5 million users on December 8th, one day prior to the Swedish law enforcement takedown of the Pirate Bay, reached an overall low of 95 million users on December 10th, back up to 100.2 million users on Friday, December the 12th. Daily average since November 1st is roughly 99.9 million, and it takes so much effort to take down even one site. And when they do it, there are going to be dozens to take its place. The ISO Hunt guys were hosting the Pirate Bay on their own mirrored server. Like, you
Almost
are not
immediately.
going to stop piracy. There has to be a better way. I mean, Google Play Music turned me into a 100% paid music user. I will happily spend my monthly subscription fee on Google Play Music because that is how I want to use it. And if you give people the option to use content the way they want to use it, I think they will pay for it. I am a personally reformed music pirate. I own like 6 CDs total. That medium didn't work for me. I wasn't going to pay you $24.99 for the one song that I wanted on that album. Because quite frankly, most of what someone like Britney Spears does is garbage. But if I wanted Hit Me Baby One More Time, I had to pay $24.90. Are you kidding me? No. So there you go. I was reformed. I think other people can be reformed by systems that are designed to actually work and not be so offensive to the consumer.
Valve's whole idea.
Yep.
To a certain degree.
That's another thing too. Steam turned me into a legit game owner. Just like that. That's all they had to do, was they had to let me use the games the way that I wanted to use them, copy them back and forth rather than re-downloading them, not have to worry about serials, not having to worry about CD keys and physical media.
It's like Excel databases that you used to hold because you'd lose them all the time.
Like, for me...
I'm not saying about that. I think you did that, but like I know a lot of people.
I could make the argument, like I could actually make the argument that I would pay $20 for the convenience of Steam. Never mind paying $20 for the actual content of the game. I mean, if you're going to give me the content of the game and the convenience of Steam for $20, or an average of $24
Honestly,
for a
if
AAA
like
game?
Uplay and Origin and Steam didn't exist, and there was a service that just like managed all your CD keys and managed all the downloads and managed all the installs and all that kind of stuff, and made it so you could drag and drop whole folders for games.
And it was like a pirate service, honestly, I'll be completely honest with you guys, I would probably use that service for at least some stuff. Because for me, it really is about the appropriate content delivery model. So there you go.
That's why pirates thrive. Content delivery models suck. That's why Netflix is doing so well, because previous movie content delivery models were terrible.
And honestly, I've had no time to watch movies or TV shows lately with the kids and all that. But if I like once things settle in a little bit, then I'll probably reactivate my Netflix subscription as well.
I have it. I don't even necessarily use it that much, but there will be like that weekend where I have nothing to do, or I have something to do, but it's like in my house, and I'll just play something in the background, and I'm like, oh yeah, I'm happy I have this, and I'll get like the whole value of that monthly sub from like a day.
Yep.
Be like, yep, awesome, super happy I had this.
So I think that's pretty much it.
I'm okay with it being pretty much it, because I'm super overheating, because I'm wearing a shirt and then another shirt and then a sweater and a wig.
Do I have a sweater on under my habit? No, I don't. I'm sure there's going to be a fair number of people talking, because I've actually never really talked about that I used to pirate a lot of content. Like,
yeah, I think that's the first time you ever brought that up.
I speak out a lot against piracy, and like I dismiss a lot of those arguments, and the reason that I feel like I have the right to do that is because I have made those arguments, and I know that I was just lying to myself. I was lying to myself, and I was lying to other people, and it's basically complete rubbish.
I've gone back.
It's horse crap.
And like, I know it's not the same, because right when your game launches, the metrics are massively more important and whatnot. But certain things that I pirated when I was a kid, and there was legitimately no possible way I could have paid for it, I have gone back and purchased in like almost every scenario.
So people are saying I'm going to lose my sponsors. I've said far worse on this show. So, yeah, good luck with that. Thanks for watching, guys. We'll see you again next week. Same bat time, same bat channel.
We won't be girls.
We will not be dressed up as nuns and the chick from Firefly. What's with this shirt?
She wears, this is not a very accurate representation, but it's probably just like the best thing Nick could find. But she wears like her kind of greasy overalls, and then she wears like a more girly shirt under it. Usually it's less terrible than this.
All right. Peace, guys.
She also doesn't have a beard. So
how can you tell? She could have a like transparent hair beard.
Don't think so.
You don't think so, but I asked how you know. I didn't ask how you don't think so.
But if you had a doesn't everyone have like a little
Have
bit
you
of hair?
ever rubbed your face against hers?
No, but I don't know.
Would you do that if you had the opportunity?
Probably yes. Although not forcibly. She would have to be okay with it first.
Okay, I would be okay with you rubbing your face against mine.
Would you?
Probably not, actually.
I wanted to clarify that.
Based on how much residue your hands leave on mice, I don't think I need to make contact with your face.
My face doesn't sweat as much as my hands do.
Can you prove that without rubbing your face on me?
Actually, probably, yeah.